Well, Ali is pretty much a revered icon, but lately another icon has been coming under attack. From Bill Cosby to President Bill Clinton and countless celebrities in between, often we have a hard time believing that these folks that we look up to are not always exactly who they appear to be. Recently, I was joined by Lisa Brateman, a psychotherapist here in New York, to discuss how a celebrity's fall from grace affects us all. Welcome, Lisa. Thanks for joining us on Arise News Weekend.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Beverly Johnson, the black supermodel, really the first black supermodel, she was on the cover of Vogue magazine. She recently penned an article saying that there were the same kind of issues that we've heard from other accusers with her and Bill Cosby. What does this mean when people look at somebody like an icon who's done so much for the African-American community here in the United States, and they hear all this other conflicting reports about how he may actually have done some really terrible things too?
Right. The thing is, we're looking at a persona and we're looking at a real life. We don't know we know the persona. The persona is part of what the media puts out there, part of being on TV, the good father. We don't know the real person, and there's the difference between them is apples and oranges. So betrayal comes into play because we believe he was the character.
Well, when we put, though, our faith into celebrities, public figures, it could be a politician, it could be, John Edwards, it could be Bill Clinton, it could be, in this case, Bill Cosby. When we put our faith in those leaders to guide us and we want them to sort of take us to a better place, but then we learn of these other things, how does that betrayal affect us in a personal way in our daily lives?
It affects us in the sense of if we can't trust someone like Bill Cosby, who can you trust? Because he was the picture-perfect father. For all people, in all generations, people wanted a father like him. Men wanted to be like him. So it kind of puts our own sense of who we are into question. If we can't trust him, who can we trust?
Well, when we're looking at, for example, the black community, I know one of my friends said that, he's the reason I went to college. He provided an example for us in the black community here who may not have had it to aspire to something more and beyond, because she didn't have a dad at home that did that. But maybe our betrayer could be someone that we had once lionized, like our fathers or our mothers or our grandparents, who are then the one that falls from grace in our eyes. It's not a public figure. Is that a different kind of an issue with people? Does that affect people differently?
Absolutely it does, because when it's your parent, that's your role model. That's the person who teaches your morals and your values. And when that trust is compromised, that brings up a lot of insecurities. Who do I believe? Who do I trust? If my parents lead me down the wrong path, or their morals and values don't match their actions, where does that leave me? How do I handle that sort of difference?
How do I know right from wrong?
Sure.
Well, going back to celebrity a little bit, you've mentioned that celebrity itself is an illusion. You talked about the persona earlier. What do you mean by that? It's an illusion, celebrity.
It's an illusion because we see somebody on TV, we see the president, we see the actor, we buy into the narrative that the media or their publicist or their story. So we fill in the blanks of who they are. Oh, wow, they're the head of this charity. That must mean they're a good person. So that's the image that we're fed, and we buy into it because we also want to believe they're good people.
So what's the solution? Do we take everybody at their word and give them the benefit of the doubt, or do we sort of get disappointed?
We get disappointed. I think trust is something that is earned. Just because somebody's on TV doesn't mean that they're trustworthy. That just means that's the message that's in front of us. I think as we get older, we were able to distinguish, well, that's the presence that was manufactured that may not have anything to do with real life. We'd like to think so, but in cases like Bill Cosby, that doesn't always play out that way.
Doesn't always play out that way. Lisa Brateman, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us for your insights.
Thank you.